Hello, my name is Quinton Thibodeaux, and I'm here to give you an informative speech on CTE in football. I'm here to let you know the risks of playing football and how CTE can happen. I'm also here to tell you that the media has overreacted to accounts of CTE in football. Now let's start with the facts. Obvious risks of playing football. Football is a fast man sport, it is a strong man sport, it is a contact sport. So there is obvious risk of getting a concussion, broken bones, broken legs, anything like that. There is an obvious risk. Now, to say this though, not every player gets hurt. It's usually, usually guys are injury prone, or some guys will stay healthy for their entire career. It's all based on you and your body. So know your body. Now, how the media has overblown CTE in football. Let's start with a really famous story of Junior Seau. He kills himself. Very famous player, famous football player, played for the Charging Patriots, long career. He kills himself, shoots himself in the chest deliberately to have his brain checked. And his brain, after scientists check, do find a link between CTE and football and his hits. Now, as Diaz defines, he defines CTE as repeated brain trauma that can lead to cognitive impairment and full-blown dementia. So the first signs of CTE is headaches and depression. Now, another thing that helped drive the media's overreaction is the movie Concussion, which worked on Dr. Bennett's research. It highlighted it, and he showed that CTE is caused by repeated blows to the head. This source was from Lukowitz. Now, all this taken into account, we understand the risks of football and CTE, but I'm here to give you five things that have to do with as to why the media has overblown football. So let's get to the facts. Number of years played. Most people don't play enough years to get CTE. Not enough blows to the head. Mostly people just play 2 years of varsity on average. This is from what I've seen. On average, these people only play 2 years of varsity football. So that's not enough time to repeatedly get hit in the head. Plus, with how they're treating practices now, there's less hitting. You're finding less and less opportunities to go helmet to helmet. It's not happening. So the risk is not there. They're not playing long enough. So everybody's taken care of in that sense. Plus, tackling has been changed. They're teaching you how to tackle better to get your head across and not concuss yourself. Now, another thing the media that looks over is player concussion history. A lot of players don't ever get concussed. And usually you see the same guy who has 3 to 5 concussions. And especially in high school, if you get 3 concussions, you're done. You can't even play anymore football. In college, I believe, is the same amount. If you suffer 3 concussions, diagnosed concussions, you can't play. So to think that we're all just getting concussions all the time, that's not true. We're not. We're not hitting enough in practice to do it, and we're not coming up in games like that because of the way the rules change, the way we're tackling. It's different. And then my next point is the same thing I just said. Not every player is suffering a concussion. People will go their entire careers without ever suffering a concussion, like never. Then there'll be some guys who suffer 5. That's just how it works. It's just kind of the kiss of death. And a lot of things too is that positions play a role. The DBs and the wide receivers, they're not going to suffer concussions. They're not hitting every play. It's the running backs, the linebackers, the offensive linemen, the D linemen. Those are the people who are hitting and are more susceptible to CTE because they're hitting almost every play. Especially with the D line and O line, they're hitting head to head a lot. So, but that still doesn't hold up because my post-line argument is that if we're gonna just talk about high school they only play 2 years and they're done. Well, if you go to college, you may play 4 years and you'll be done. But if you go to the NFL, an average career is 3 to 5 years. So you're not playing long enough, even at that point, to suffer concussion. And the thing with the media about post-life is that they forget that athletes, statistically, football players live longer, and that's just a statistic that's there that they have. It's always been something I've seen. And another thing too that the media fails to talk about is that football gets a lot of concussions per year, but cheerleading and soccer gets more per year than football. So the only reason why football is getting attacked is because it's more popular than the two. But to continue with the post-life argument, players, after 3 or 5 years, they live long, healthy lives. You only see the problems with CTE and injuries when a player has played 10 to 15 years. And there hasn't been that many players there. I believe Shannon Sharp was on Undisputed a couple of days ago, and he said that only 1,000 players have ever played 10 plus years. So that's literally like probably like maybe less than 1% of every football player that's ever been in the league that has played more than 10 years. So you're talking about a very small, very, very small window of guys who are susceptible to getting CTE. And not to mention, you can get CTE and dementia without ever playing football. So to think that these guys would turn down the option of making millions of dollars or having the chance of making millions of dollars because of a risk of CTE. If you go to a construction site, do you not know the risks of injuries that you can have, but you get paid well? That doesn't make sense. There's measures taken in place, but you can only put so many measures and you can't restrict the work. You can't put in measures that restrict the work, which is what football is doing right now. And that's because of the media scrutiny of football. Now to review, the media, I think I've laid out all my points to you that go well against the media. Now the media obviously will always overreact to said things. And it's unfortunate that Junior Seau passed the way he did. But I will tell you this. His life will not end in vain. Because of him, we are taking measures to keep the game safe. But we will also hold our ground and say that our game does not kill you. Our game does not make you depressed. Our game is not something that should end in suicide with one of our players. It is not like that. We are not savages hitting each other for no reason. We play the game right. We don't look to injure. We don't look to injure ourselves. We would never play the game to do that. So the media, like always, they will always be an enemy to the football, and they will always be an enemy to the most popular thing because they always want to sink their hooks into something. But I'm here to tell you, and because of my points, I believe that the media has overreacted to CTE in football. Thank you. Have a nice day.